What's up my loves, my name is Paige, this is Pages with Paige, and today we're going to be doing an unhaul. So I have not yet counted how many books there are here. There is another stack extending past that corner, and then that's the last one there, but it's a lot. These have been sitting in the cupboard for some I've just recently added, some since April of this year. I was waiting for a particular event to occur, but I'm done. I want these out of my house, so I'm going to donate the ones that aren't in great quality and potentially sell the rest at a bookstore. So I need to cart them down to Sydney and do that. So that's gonna be fun. I think I'm just gonna work my way down and see how we go. These really don't have any rhyme or reason. I've tried to keep authors together and I've tried to keep series together, but that's not always how it goes. So without further ado, let's dive in. First up, we have a collection of funky books. So the first is The World Away, Wisdom and Stories to Celebrate Life's Big Moments by Rachel Bushholz. Don't know where I got this. It's cute, but I don't need it. The Dark Side of the Sun by Terry Pratchett. I thought this was part of the Discworld. It's not. I got it from a used bookstore, so it can go back. Book Lust and More Book Lust by Nancy Pearl. Recommended reading for every mood, moment, and reason. My friend gave this to me and I have looked through it, but I'm just not gonna utilize this as much as I could because my reading is rather restricted. Zombies Hate Stuff by Greg Stones. This was a gift from my sister's ex and it's cute, but I don't need it anymore. Tinder Nightmares, presented by Uninspirational. This is hilarious and I would love for people to actually read it rather than it lingering on my shelves because I'm not going to reread it, but it was hilarious. How to Survive Being a Teacher by Clive Winchlow and Mike Haskins. I didn't survive. Eeyore's Gloomy Little Instruction Book, inspired by A.A. Milne with decorations by Ernest H. Shepard. Just again, another little motivational book that I don't need. Barry Trotter and the Shameless Parody by Michael Gerber. Yep, it is really funny. And Find Your Inner Calm. This is just a little affirmations book once again, and my mum gave it to me, but I no longer need it as I've decided to embrace my inner chaos. The Stand by Stephen King. Read this, no longer want to keep it. I did contemplate keeping all of King because it's a fucking accomplishment to be able to get through Behemoth, but I'm good. The Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett. If you had have seen my TBR video, I said that I had unhauled this, and I have. I'm not picking this up. And A Little Life by Hanya Yorakahana. Again, I just don't need this lingering on my shelves, and with them being so big, I would rather other things take up that space. My mantra for my last unhaul was, I just don't give a fuck, and this is very similar vibes. Although the reflection on my glasses is pissing me off. Then I have my Game of Thrones set. This one is a different size and I just know if we're gonna get these, we're gonna get them in a nice edition. And that is Game of Thrones, A Clash of Kings, A Storm of Swords Part 1, A Storm of Swords Part 2, A Feast for Crows, A Dance with Dragons Part 1, A Dance with Dragons Part 2. And then I have the entire Blue Bloods. So Blue Bloods, Masquerade, Revelations, The Van Allen Legacy, Misguided Angel, Keys to the Repository, Bloody Valentine, Lost in Time, and Gates of Paradise. All by Melissa Dela Cruz. Onto this one. First two is The Book of Lies and The Book of Baden Dark by James Maloney. This is the first and the third in this series. Then I have The Secrets of the Immortal Nicholas Flamel by Michael Scott, which has The Alchemist, The Magician, The Sorceress, The Necromancer, The Enchantress, and The Warlock. Again, I want to get them in matching editions. And then I have Pan's Labyrinth by Del Toro and Cornelia Funk. I'm just not going to read it. Kiss Me Like a Stranger by Jane Wilder, Imaginary Friend by Stephen Chbosky, and Emotional Female by Yumiko Kadoda. And then I have Sisterhood Everlasting by Anne Brashes. I think this is the last of the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. No longer interested. The Tattooist of Auschwitz by Heather Morris. Heard some not great things about this. And The Last Witness by John Matthews. I have no idea what this is or where it came from. Continuing on the vein of no idea where these came from, I've got John Connolly's The Book of Lost Things and The White Road, also by John Connolly, and Nobody True by James Herbert. Then I have The Girl on the Landing by Paul Torday, The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. I'm glad that I love The Night Circus, but I'm happy for this one to go. And The Librarian by Sally Vickers. This was my lowest rated read for this year. Still okay, just not my vibe. Again, another one that I have no idea where it came from is John Connolly's Bad Men. Ooh, Monstrous Hearts by Claire McKenna. My mum bought this for me and I'm so devastated because I had asked her as a cover buy, and I should have looked into reviews, because whilst it was okay, it was not the best, and the ratings are pretty low on Goodreads, so I could have used that as an indicator and got something else instead. But can't change the past. The Bone Clocks by David Mitchell. I just decided I got a lot from friends' unhauls, and I've realized that I made a mistake doing that. So, and Iron Gold by Pierce Brown. Kitty Flanagan's 488 Rules for Life, and Fury Born by Claire Legrand. Most of these I've just lost interest in. Too many books, not enough time. Alright, on to the next. I am too hot to be doing that in a very fluffy dressing gown. Tea break. I'm on 85 books on 3 stacks out of 7. Alright, so for stack 3, I have Delirium, Requiem, and Pandemonium, all by Lauren Oliver. The Other Beast, that is It by Stephen King. The 5 People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. Ransom by David Malouf. I bought this in Melbourne for my birthday and have decided to unhaul it because I found a hardcover version. The First Phone Call from Heaven, again by Mitch Albom. Firefly Lane by Kirsten Hanna. Dark Alchemy, edited by Jack Dan and Gardner Doise. The Keeper of Lost Things by Ruth Hogan, and How to Train Your Dragon by Cressida Kell. The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness. I bought this edition, and then April sent me her black versions for all 3. Vampires Never Get Old, edited by Zordea Cordova and Natalie C. Parker, and Desires of the Dead by Kimberly Derting. The Shipping News by E. Annie Perlux. I have no idea what this is or how it came into my collection, but here it is, and now it's gone. Same as Journey to the Stone Country by Alex Miller. Before I Fall by Lauren Oliver, and American Psycho by Bret Easton Ellis. These 2 were on my self-destructs. If I die by books, it's fine. It's how I wanted to go. Jesus Christ, this is intimidating. Then I've got Wonderstruck and The Adventure of Hero Cabaret, both by Brian Selznick. I would rather someone who is going to read them and adore them have them in their collection than accruing dust on my shelves. Fuck, that was my thumb. Undead Girl Gang by Lily Anderson. Read this, had fun with it, but it can go. A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. I've kept this Al Crate edition and it pisses me off every time I see it, so it can go. Sweet and Bitter Magic by Adrienne Tooley. Again, a lot of these are box books that I've just decided I'm done. I am still interested in this, but not enough to prioritize it over other things that I've got on my shelves. Scavenge the Stars by Tara Sim, same as Sweet and Bitter. I'm intrigued, but not enough. The Toll by Neil Schusterman. Again, Al Crate exclusive edition. Don't know what's different from the original, and I would just rather have matching paperbacks. I Hope You Get This Message by Farah Naz Rishi, and Star Daughter by Zeta Thakra. I really find this a beautiful edition, but not interested. And finally, Goddess in the Machine by Laura Beth Johnston. My fucks are not here. So, stack number 4, I've cleared out. And this has 30 books, so this will take us over the 100. So I have, where am I? The Magic and the Weaving and The Power in the Storm by Tamora Pierce. I thought I wanted to collect all these different editions of Tamora Pierce, and I've decided, no, actually, let's keep it simple. Anthony Doerr's About Grace and the Shell Collector. Like I discussed in one of my wrap-ups where I read All the Light We Cannot See, that I'm unhauling all 3. All the light somewhere in the stack. Temeraire by Naomi Novik, first in the series, and just no interest. Nixia by Scott Renteng. We're just not going to read it. Ash was happy for it to go off his shelves. Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I just didn't want to keep this singular book on my shelves. I can always read it at the library. Word of Honor by Michael Pryor. I have swapped editions. Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ning. Can't be bothered. Same as The Road by Cormac McCarthy. I feel like I buy a lot of these books thinking, oh, these are ones I have to read. And then I realize I don't have to read anything that I don't want to. So, bye bitches. Bloodlust and Initiation and Ritual and Legacy by Alec Duval. I remember enjoying these as a teenager, but I'm not going to go back to that. The Kind Worth Killing by Peter Swanson. I really enjoyed this. And... oh! My little angel! What's she doing in there? Yeah, really enjoyed this. I'm not gonna reread it. Oh. The Tourist Attraction by Sarah Morgenthaler. Picked this up for a particular project that I don't think is going to continue, and or I'll just replace it with something else instead. And Loki by Mackenzie Lee. How to Make Friends with the Dark by Kathleen Glasgow. I've been really interested in it, but I never pick it up, so what's the point? And This Adventure Ends by Emma Mills. I wanted to collect all of their work, even though I haven't read any, and then just realized maybe not. A Million Dunes by Emily Henry. I'm not sure what this was about, but I'm okay to move it on. Gideon on the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. I feel like someone would appreciate a hardcover version of this more than me, so yeah. Across the Nightingale Floor by Lee and Hearn. We accidentally doubled up on buying this. Out of the Woods by Luke Turner. I have been meaning to unhaul this for eons, and I'm finally buying the bullet and it can go. I was like brutal this round, and I'm still like eyeing things on my shelf, but I'm pretty happy with everything that's there. Reckless by Cornelia Funk. This is going because it's the first in an uncompleted series, and I'm not going to do that to myself. Although I did watch someone mention this in a wrap up recently and they really liked it, so positive, just no, I'm not going to do that to myself. Star Worlds by Audrey Coldhurst and Paula Garner. I can't even remember where I got this from. I just know I was so excited to collect hardcovers like a couple of years ago because it was such a novel idea. So if I saw one for cheap, I got it. 20 Blaze Summer by Sarah Ockler. Again, was for the project. No longer doing that. Echo Mountain by Lauren Walk. April sent this to me and I just know that I'm not going to get to it anytime soon, so let's pass it on to a child that actually will. Mitch Album, The Next Person You Meet in Heaven. I don't know. I think I've moved on from this sort of philosophical stuff. This version of Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. Again, April sent this to me, but then I got the illustrated editions this year. Similarly, April also sent me Plain Bad Heroines by Emily M. Danforth in hardcover because I was like, oh my god, like I love that cover. And then I realized that Ash had actually bought me my edition of just the regular paperback, and so that's the one that I've read and I'm gonna keep that instead. And then I'm getting rid of two Dr. Carl books, The Doctor and House of Carls. I feel like I've read this, but I haven't marked it anywhere, and this one I read earlier this year, and I'm okay with not having these on my shelves anymore. I really just liked meeting him because like he does a lot of stuff with schools, and so as an upcoming teacher I was like, yeah, but now I'm like, eh. So someone else can gain the facts from this. And that was that stack. Stack number 5. 143. Shit. No, not in my tea. Do not fall in my tea. So we have Loveless by Alice Oseman. I would prefer to see this in someone else's hands. This Is How It Always Is by Laurie Frankel. Again, I feel like the rep in this, which I haven't read personally, but I feel like someone else will gain more from it. It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I've just decided I don't want to collect Coco's work. Dig by A.S. King. I would love to know that someone else has experienced such a mind trip going through this. Boy Swallows Universe by Trent Dalton. We had a double up. An Imaginary Life by David Malouf. I thought because I loved Ransom I was gonna love everything. I don't, so bye. The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. I don't need this anymore. The Boy in the Striped Pajamas by John Boyne. Heard shit things about the author. The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I don't like this edition. Vampire Academy, Frostbite, and Shadowkiss, all by Rochelle Mead. As I read them, I'm just gonna unhaul them because I don't need them. And these covers are buttfuck ugly. And Educated by Tara Westover. This I fluctuate on, but I can always get it as a library book. The Art by Tori Henwood Hohen. I thought I was interested, but I'm not. And mostly I just wanted an arc that said The Arc on it because that's funny, but I actually don't have any desire to pick this up. Home Fire by Camilla Shamsi. Again, want this in someone else's hands. And Foxlow by Eleanor Wasserberg. This has survived so many unhauls and it's stunning, but it's going. Then Don't Come For Me. I have Alloy of Law by Brandon Sanderson and The Way of Kings. I'm getting rid of these tall, chunky editions and we're just going to collect the ones that match. These are beasts. Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Young. This is the Alcrate edition and I don't want to start this series yet, and I can always get it via audiobook. Ace of Shades by Amanda Feedy. I thought this was the best thing, finding a signed edition for $5, but I'm not going to read it. The Seven Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. April kindly gifted me the hardcover to replace my paperback, but I just lost interest and I'm not going to do it. And The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J Maas. I bought this from Asha's work because it was cheaper than most hardcovers, but I would rather just collect them all in a matching set. And In Pieces by Sally Field. This is a double up. Witches of Ash and Maroon by E. Latmar. I really enjoyed this story and the representation within it, especially the bisexuality, but I'm not going to reread it, and I feel like someone else could get more from this. Then I have stunning editions of Leviathan, Behemoth, and Goliath, but I'm not going to read these. I know that people have recommended them, but I'll get them via audiobook if I need to. And finally for this stack, The Guinevere Deception by Kirsten. This is the Alcrate edition and I'm not going to reread it, and I would rather just continue on with the series in editions that I can get and not have to fork out the extra money. Cool! My battery's dying, so I'm going to swap that over so the angle will change, but I will be back for the last two stacks. Alright, sorry if there was an ankle change. Stack 6 is The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. I didn't enjoy this as much as I was hoping to, considering how much I liked the first one, but I don't actually own The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. Picnic at Hanging Rock by Joan Lindsay. I should have got rid of this years ago. And Madame Bovary by Gustave Flaubert. This is now a double up because I bought Ash, our Penguin cloth-bound edition. 50 Shades of Earl Grey by Fanny Merkin. This is a parody and so much better than the 50 Shades series. The Poisonwood Bible by Barbara Kingsolver, no interest. The Husband's Secret by Leanne Moriarty, again no interest. 50 Shades Freed by E.L. James. I'm finally freed of this monstrosity, and like I said, the parody is better than the actual book. The First Stone by Helen Garner. I got recommended this at a library book sale, but I'm not going to pick it up. Same as Wild Swans by Jung Chang. I feel like this could be a really important read, and I'd rather have it in circulation rather than sitting on my shelves where I'm going to procrastinate on it. The Leading Edge of Evolutionary Biology, Genetics, Anthropology and Environmental Science, edited by John Brockman. It took me so long to be able to get rid of this book. I love the cover and I'm really interested in the content as I did major in anthropology, but I'm just not going to do it. Not Without My Sister by Christina, Celeste and Juliana. I've read this and I'm not going to reread it. Animal Farm by George Orwell. I have a different edition now. All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. The Spider's House by Sarah Diamond. A lot of these ones that I'm like, I have no idea where they came from. I think they came from like 2017 book hauls where I just bought random library shit and then I had them sitting here in case my mum was interested. But Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Elias Sands. Would rather have this in someone else's hands, and I'm only going to pick up the second book via audio. And The Babysitter's Coven by Kate Williams. I am so devastated to be getting rid of this, but I would rather listen to the audiobooks of these and continue on the series that way. Black Leopard Red Wolf by Marlon James. Just not my vibe. Nine Perfect Strangers by Leanne Moriarty. Again, no interest. The Farm by Joanne Ramos. This was from my last self-destruct. The Magician by Colm Tolban. This was again a library recommendation. John Connolly The Unquiet. Yeah. Lovely War by Julie Perry. I am going to get an edition that doesn't have dog. It's still usable, but The Arc of a Spark of Light by Jodi Picoult. I'm not going to pick this up. The Flat Shirt that had also been nommed on. I now have a art copy of this and very, very happy. So thank you, Crystal, for that. The Arsonist by Chloe Hooper. I'm just not going to read this. The Guest List by Lucy Foley. I got this in December from someone's Unhaul, I think, and I realized I'm not interested. The Winds Are Not by S.J. Bennett. I got this from Ash's work as an ARC solely because there is a corgo on the cover and Ash loves corgis, but I'm not going to read it and he's happy for me to unhaul it. Steel Crow Saga by Paul Kruger. I really enjoyed this, but I've heard shitty things about the author, so no thank you. Why am I getting rid of this? Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. It means I don't have to physically pick up Hellbent, but I didn't remember unhauling this, but okay. And Broken Things by Lauren Oliver. I read this in December and really enjoyed it, but with it being a thriller, I'm not going to reread it. And onto the 6 stack. Now, with all of this, that is 197 books. So I've got my beat up copy of Royal Assassin by Robin Hobb, The Well of Ascension and Hero of Ages by Brandy Sandy in these editions. We're gonna get nicer ones. The Princess Diaries, take 2. Third Time Lucky, Mia Goes Forth, Give Me 5, Sixational, Seventh Heaven, After 8, and To the Nines are all by Meg Cabot, and I want to have them in a matching set if I do end up reaccruing them. The Darkest Minds, Never Fade, and In the Afterlight, all by Alexandra Bracken. This is the Darkest Mind series. I still have Through the Dark, I think, but I haven't read that yet, but I'm like, these can go because I think someone else will enjoy them. Then I have Clockwork Angel, Clockwork Prince, and Clockwork Princess, all by Cassandra Clare. This is the Infernal Devices series and I have read it, so I don't need it. As well as The Mortal Instruments, which is City of Bones, City of Ashes, City of Glass, City of Fallen Angels, City of Lost Souls, and City of Heavenly Fire, all by Cassie Clare. I've read and no longer need to keep. So with this being 197 books, I decided to find some more. So I still had a stack of John Grisham's that were in my cupboard for my mum, and like she doesn't want them or need them. So the first is actually Patricia Cornwell's The Body Farm. I have read this many years ago and I don't want to hold on to it. Then for the John Grisham's we have The Partner, The Client, The Firm, The Chamber, and then I have The Power of One and April Fool's Day by Bryce Courtney, but I can always get these from the library. So that's 204. And then I looked over at my graphic novels and decided I could get rid of Sea Prayer by Khalid Hosseini. uni because I would love for someone else to find this and fall in love with it, as well as Drama by Raina Telgemeier. I don't need to hold on to this, and I feel like a kid would get more out of it. So there's 206. Then I saw The Milkman by Anna Burns. My sister recently returned this to me and I'm just not interested anymore. It's Stream of Consciousness. I'm never going to pick it up. As well as Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. Yeah, I'm good. So then I've decided to self-destruct 3 books from my shelf-destruct early, and that is The Afterlife of Holly Chase by Cynthia Hand. I told myself that if I didn't read it around Christmas, I'm not going to, and then I ended up reading something else, so it can go. Have a Little Faith in Me by Sonia Hartel. No one voted for it, but my heart's going, nah, it can go. And the one that was probably the most unanimously voted for against currently is Witches Steeped in Gold by Sian Smart. So off it goes. And with that, that is 211 books. And I am super proud of myself. I have put wine that was in the cupboard back on my shelf, which is The Wind Up Girl by Pablo Ballalucci. My best friend lives in Germany and he has been living there for 4 to 5 years now. And he came home, and so I got to see him for the first time in 3.5 years. And we were talking and he said, oh, have you read this book? And I was like, oh, I think it's in my Unhaul. So it's now going back on my shelf because of his recommendation. I am sending 2 bags of books to various places, so we're going to speed through this. To Ash's fam, we're sending the Percy Jackson series, The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis, Friday Barnes, 4 books of those, 3 books in the Nothing to See Here Hotel by Stephen Butler, and 14 Minecraft zombie books. To my teacher friend Jacqueline from Jaxie Jax Reads, I have a set of Captain Underpants, some Puff and Nibbles, so Blast Off, Topsy and Turvy, Scruffy's Day Out, First Friend, and No Cat, and that's that. And then majority of my Roald Dahl collection. The Glorious Sumptuous Worlds of Roald Dahl, a spectacular scrapbook of stories, characters, and creations. Twits, George's Marvelous Medicine, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory in this new edition, Billy and the Minpins, the BFG in this lovely, lovely, lovely edition, The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, and 6 more, including The Boy Who Talked to Animals, The Witches in the brand new edition with extra chapters, another version of George's Marvelous Medicine, Twits again, another version of the BFG, Fantastic Mr. Fox, another version of George's Marvelous Medicine, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, another version, James and the Giant Peach, Magic Finger, and Diaz Vidal. So that's 34 books going to Jacqueline, and 34 going to Ash's family. Hello my loves, so just jumping in after realizing the books that I was sending to Jacqueline, the amount that it was, as well as the ones we were sending to Ash's family, I realized that was 279 books. So I couldn't just leave it. And then I was like, yeah, I'll just get rid of like 2 more, so then it's over 280. And I'm getting rid of Scott Pilgrim Volume 1 and Volume 2. We can get all of these from my library and I've already read them. My copy of Priory of the Orange Tree, because Ash still has his, and so we don't need a double up. Same as Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. I read this in December. Ash has the same edition in his family home, as well as like 2 other editions. Then I decided for classics, I'm gonna get rid of The Crucible by Arthur Miller. I'm just not interested. And I can always just read it as an audiobook because it is fairly short, as well as Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. I forgot that I had bought Ash the cloth-bound classic version, so I don't need to keep the penguin. I did also forget to put my earrings on, which are the buy flag for buy books. I literally wore them for this clip just so I could show you that these exist, and I genuinely bought them with the idea that when I was going to film this unhaul I would be wearing them to say buy books, so I'm so mad at myself for forgetting to put them on. But anyway, we're here, they've made an appearance, I fucking love them, and time to get these books out of my house because I am overwhelmed. That is it. I'm pretty happy. I'm feeling really good. I'm loving how my shelves are looking, and it was so hard to find more things to unhaul. I did want to focus on getting my unread down further rather than unhauling more read. I think there's a decent mix in here, but yeah, I'm just really happy with it all. And 211 books that are getting out of my house and off my shelves. And let me know in the comments, do you unhaul books? This has basically been an accumulation of a year's worth of stuff. Normally I don't leave it that long, but I was in a zone and felt like unhauling, so I did. Whoops. But to be fair, like, none of these have been calling to me for a while, and literally there was only one book in this entire year that I've put back on my shelf, and that was literally like 2 weeks ago when my friend was around. Love that. Yeah, let me know anything you want to let me know, and do you unhaul or not? It also didn't swear as much. Huh. But if you like this video, feel free to give it a big thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more of this mess, feel free to subscribe. I'll hopefully see you on my next video.